Welcome back as we continue our Revelation studies. If you missed the first video, I highly recommend you go back and watch it as it helps set the stage for the rest of this series. In this video, we're looking at one of the more difficult time statements of the book of Daniel, the 2300 evenings and mornings in Daniel 8, 13, and 14. I believe this presentation is the first one made with the new information that I'll be presenting outside of an academic setting, so I'm really excited to share it. This passage has generated a lot of debate because Daniel elsewhere uses a repeated 3.5-year pattern, time times and half a time, half of a final week, 1260 days, 1290 days, and 1335 days. But this one's different. It's 2300 evenings and mornings. So we need to start with Daniel 8:13 and 14. Then I heard a holy one speaking, and another holy one said to the one who spoke, "For how long is the vision concerning the regular burnt offering, the transgression that makes desolate, and the giving over of the sanctuary and host to be trampled underfoot?" And he said to me, "For 2300 evenings and mornings, then the sanctuary will be restored to its rightful state." So when Daniel 8 hears 2300 evenings and mornings, the question is obvious. How does that number fit with Daniel's larger chronology? As always, the full written version of this study with citations, research notes, and fuller scholarly discussion is linked in the description to my Substack below. This video is meant to carry the argument clearly, while the written article functions as the document layer for you to review on your own. Daniel 8 is centered on a sanctuary crisis. A hostile power rises, it magnifies itself, it attacks the people of God, it throws the truth to the ground, and it interferes with the regular burnt offering. We have the Abomination or Desolation nestled into the passage as well, and that's a big clue as to what this is about. The Hebrew word for regular or daily offering is tamid. That word matters because the question in Daniel 8 is not just, how long will bad things happen? The question is specifically about the sanctuary, the host, and the regular burnt offering being trampled and disrupted. Daniel hears one of the Holy One ask another one, "For how long is the vision concerning the regular burnt offering, the transgression that makes desolate, and the giving over of the sanctuary and the host to be trampled underfoot?" And the answer is given, "For 2300 evenings and mornings, then the sanctuary will be restored to its rightful state." So the burden of the passage is temple-centered. The sanctuary is defiled. The regular offering is interrupted. This suggests to us that the regular offering is taking place, meaning that at some point in the future, the Antichrist will stop a regularly practiced sacrifice. That's interesting. Next, the people of God are oppressed, and the vision gives a specific number connected to the sanctuary crisis. Traditionally, interpreters have taken the 2300 evenings and mornings in a few different ways. One option is to read them as 2300 literal days. On that reading, evening and mornings means something like an ordinary day, and that period of time gives a little bit more than 6 years, and it kind of aligns with a 7-year period, a 70th week. A second option is to read the phrase as 2300 sacrificial units. Since the regular burnt offering was offered morning and evening, this would mean 2300 offerings, or 1150 days. The second option brings the number closer to Daniel's 3.5-year pattern, 1260 days, but it still does not fully explain the number since there's days missing. The third option is the one this study is exploring. According to Michael Siegel and Sarah Wadler, the 2300 evenings and mornings may not be counting days at all. It may not be simply dividing 2300 by 2. Instead, Daniel 8 might be counting something else: missed sacrificial offerings. Now, at first that might just sound like counting days, but the 2300 may represent the total number of regular evening and morning temple offerings that would be missed during a 3.5-year disruption. That's the key idea. Daniel 8 is not using a generic stopwatch. It's using a temple service chronometer. It measures the crisis according to the thing being interrupted, the regular offering. And this makes sense in context. If Daniel 8 is focused on the removal of the tamid, the regular offering, then the answer, 2300 evenings and mornings, may be measuring how many offering events are lost during the period of desecration. That means the number is not disconnected from the 3.5 year pattern that we see other places in Daniel. It's a different way of measuring the same kind of period. So, how does this work? Normally, if the regular offerings happened twice a day, then 3.5 year period would produce more than 2,300 offerings. It would be closer to 2,500 to 2,600 offerings, which is too many. So, Siegel and Wadler's proposal depends on a specific ancient legal interpretation, and the argument is this. Under one early interpretive tradition, Sabbaths and festivals did not simply add one extra offering on top of the daily offering. Instead, the special day's appointed offering would supersede the regular offering. That meant an ordinary day would count as two offerings, morning and evening, but a Sabbath or a festival day would count differently because the special offering for that day would take priority. This lowers the expected number of missed regular offerings across a 3.5 year period, and under certain calendar assumptions, the total comes very close to 2,300. Actually, it equals 2,300 depending on the year. To test this theory myself, I wrote a Python script and input the variables found in Leviticus as well as some of the other rabbinical documents, and depending on the start year, I was able to confirm alignment using their system to a 3.5 year time frame almost perfectly. It came within 1 day. And that is the technical heart of their proposal. Daniel 8:14 is not saying after 2,300 ordinary days the sanctuary is going to be restored. What it is saying is after 2,300 missed evening and morning offering units, the sanctuary will be restored. And that's a different count. It's not less literal. It's just measuring a different thing. The vision is asking about the regular offering, the sanctuary, and the trampling of holy things. So the answer gives a number in temple service terms. They're not changing the theme of the question. There was also evidence that this kind of legal reasoning existed in Second Temple Judaism. Siegel and Wadler point to Leviticus 23 and the Damascus document from the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Damascus document appears to preserve a legal interpretation in which the Sabbath offering alone is permitted on the Sabbath, and if that interpretation is correct, then the regular daily offering would not stack on top of the Sabbath offering under that legal rule. And that gives us a plausible ancient setting for how someone could count offerings this way. So, this proposal is strong, but it's not simple. It explains a lot, but it also depends on some legal premise that is hard to understand. And some of it has been lost to history and only recently rediscovered in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Daniel was told by the angel in chapter 12, "But you, Daniel, shut up these words and seal the book until the time of the end. And many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase." Now, here we have this new research showing us additional insights into what Daniel was told. Are these the words and understandings of Daniel that are finally being unsealed? I think they might be. It also fits Daniel 8's topic very well. Daniel 8 is not mainly about abstract chronology. It's about sanctuary crisis. The regular offering is removed, the sanctuary is trampled. The question is, how long? That's what Daniel is asked. That's what the angel asks. The answer is given in evening and morning terms. That strongly suggests temple service is the measuring frame. And it also helps Daniel 8 cohere with the broader Danielic pattern. Daniel repeatedly returns to 3.5 year oppression period. If the 2,300 evenings and mornings are missed sacrifices during the 3.5 year secession, then Daniel 8 is not giving a rival timeline. It's giving the exact same timeline for the exact end-time crisis in the sanctuary-centered measurement. And next, it explains why the number is so unusual. If Daniel simply wanted to say days, he could have said days, but he says evenings and mornings. That language naturally draws the attention to the regular rhythm of temple service, the Tamid. Then, the morning offering, the evening offering, the daily worship service, the sanctuary calendar, the loss of that rhythm is part of the horror of the vision. The enemy does not merely attack politically, he attacks worship, he throws truth to the ground, he interrupts the services of God, and he tramples what is holy. And the restoration is described in sanctuary terms. The sanctuary will be restored to its rightful state. So the 2,300 evenings and mornings may be a way of saying The sanctuary crisis will last until the full measure of missed worship has been reached. Then the sanctuary will be restored. This also matters for how we read the larger Daniel Revelation timeline. If Daniel 8's 2300 evenings and mornings can be understood as 3.5 years of temple service count, then it strengthens the connection that it has between Daniel 8, 9, 12, and Revelation. Daniel 9 speaks of a final week, with sacrifice and offering stopped in the middle of the week. That produces the half week. Daniel 12 speaks of time, times, and half a time, and then gives day count connected to the end. Revelation speaks of 42 months and 1260 days. All of these passages are circling the same kind of period, a limited, divinely bounded season of oppression, desecration, and anti-saint aggression. And in this way, Daniel 8 is describing the same period through the lens of temple service. The 2300 evenings and mornings are not random. They are not a separate 6-year period. They are not just another 1150 ordinary days. What they are the number of missed offering units during the sanctuary desecration. And that's why I think the phrase temple service chronometer is helpful here. A regular clock counts time. A temple service chronometer counts disrupted worship intervals. And it measures the crisis by what the enemy has stopped. That's especially appropriate in Daniel 8 because the vision itself is focused on the Tamid, the sanctuary, and the restoration of holy order. The implications here are huge. It suggests that at the time of the abomination or desolation, sacrificial services are in place and are interrupted. It suggests that there are regular temple services that can be interrupted and are later restored, telling us, again, that upon Jesus' return, temple function is restored. Thank you so much for watching. The full written paper with citations and research notes is linked in the description below. If you haven't subscribed, I suggest you do. We have a lot more content to go over regarding these topics, and you're not going to want to miss any. As always, God bless.